All right, walking through the paddock, we have to talk to you. Robbie Bushido Blade Nishida and the iconic GTR. Talk about progression. We've talked about it. You started out, we talked about you commuting. For how many years have you been commuting from Japan over here to compete in Formula Drift?
For about 5 years.
5 years. You started out in a Sil Camino, as I like to call it, an S13 that cut out like a truck, you know, a Hachi, or basically a hatch, an El Camino looking thing. Now you're in the Pinnacle, a Japanese supercar, a GTR. What do you make of the progression? I mean, what do you make of this car?
Well, I'm really excited to drive it, and you know, the making of it, it took a while. You know, as you know, this is the second round this year. Hopefully we can do really good this time. We didn't get so much seat time out of the car. We're trying to work some tweaks out of it while we're here. So it's going to be like a work in progress throughout the year, but hopefully it'll become a good car. You know, I made a clean pass yesterday, 1 out of 3, so that's pretty good. And you know, I guess everybody's been working really hard at it, and I'm not trying to, you know, talk good about myself, but I mean, I've been working pretty hard, so I'm pretty sure, you know, everybody deserves this, and you know, hopefully I deserve the car too.
That's good. I mean, as we've seen over the years, you know, people such as Sam Hubenet, Reese Mill, and even Tanner Faust working out the kinks in their new car. Even champion Chris Forsberg from last year, he had a lot of years in his vehicle before that was a championship winning vehicle. So I mean, you know, no skin off your back. We did not see this car compete at round 1. It failed to even show up till later part of the event. I mean, it's basically, it was a rolling chassis. Now it's more than a rolling chassis, it's horsepower on the track. I mean, do you feel this is a competitive vehicle, you know, once you work out the kinks?
To be honest, as of right now, it's really hard. I mean, we can just kind of barely get it out there so it looks like it's drifting. Being competitive, I don't know yet. You know, we're gonna have to try a lot of stuff on it, make a lot of changes. But you know, I think as long as it has 4 tires, you know, it's driftable and it's going to be competitive.
That's the attitude I want to hear. Robbie Bushido Blade Nishida cutting through the competition. Now let's get to the star potentially of, you know, you talk about the GTR. Let's talk about this car. Let's talk about yours in particular. Let's pop the hood here. Show the kids what you're working with. Everybody wants to see under the hood. You know what I mean? Because you've actually vied away from the stock GTR engine to make way for, you're kind of digressing here, going back to a VQ engine from the 350Z. Talk about it a little bit.
I think they made this choice of using the VQ, and basically this is a motor out of the 350 that I was driving last year. And I think instead of creating a new engine and, you know, stepping into a whole new, you know, area of engine building and then tranny and all that stuff, it's so much easier to just go ahead and throw this in. And we're going to be creating the VR motor throughout the year. Maybe middle year or maybe later of the year, we might be throwing the VR into here, so it'll become the real GTR. So nobody comes out and says, hey, you know, it's not a real GTR. It's got a VQ in it. But we're trying to play it safe. You know, we're going to try to do the chassis and the suspension first, and while we're creating that, they'll be putting the engine together on the side. Hopefully, it'll become, you know, one badass car.
There you go. And you know, basically, also adding to that, when the VQ initially came out in the 350Z, I mean, I remember a couple people just kind of scratching their head looking at the engine, what to do with it. And that's funny now, you're talking about the VR, you know, the GTR engine, basically pulling that engine out. VQ, very reliable engine, a proven engine in your, like you said, last year's vehicle, you drove a 350Z. Now progressing to this, basically do some R&D on that. Interesting way of doing it. You know, Eddie Kim, your team manager of another hand-cooked vehicle. What do you make of the hand-cooked tires?
You know, to be honest, the tires are really great, and you know, not just because I'm driving for them, but I've driven on so many tires. You know, since I'm from Japan, I drive so many different cars and so many different tires. But to be honest, hand-cooked tires are one of the best competing tires I think I've been driving on, and the grip on it is really great. You know, I can't really say much about it. It smells good. That's
good. And again, you keep saying to be honest. I actually want you to lie to me. Can you lie to me and the fans? I want you to lie. I'm just kidding. Well, here's another question that people are dying to know on forums and threads. We basically give them the opportunity to ask questions to you. They ask to see under the hoods. They also ask, what kind of horn are you running? I mean, what kind of horn sound are we dealing with? Actually, you know, to get people out of the way. Can we get a test drive on the horn? Is there a horn even on this?
Right now, we're working on it. I don't think we can,
you're R&D-ing the horn?
Yeah, I don't think we could beat Ross at this. You know, we want to come out with something really good to beat his. So.
Yeah, I mean, this is Japanese supercar. We need a Japanese super horn, correct?
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Robbie Nishida, hornless, but on the track.